Hi y'all and welcome to my OS 250 online final presentation. A small introduction to MBTI is that it is a self-report questionnaire with the purpose of indicating psychological preferences on how people tend to perceive the world around them and how they tend to make decisions. There are about 16 personalities a person can fall into. The test is commonly used in different business-oriented settings such as leadership development, team building, screening and interviewing employees, career selection, and finally, personal development. The test may help you discover renewed confidences, fix gray areas that you might fill in the gaps, and why you preserve a certain way. The test roughly is about 45 minutes long, so it's kind of lengthy. A small introduction to the PI, or the predictive index, is that it is a worldwide personality test that measures 4 primary personality characteristics. The first one is dominance, followed by extroversion, then patience, and finally formality. Dominance and patience both have 22 in them, while extroversion and formality both have 21. It enables employers to predict how a worker will perform in the work setting and it's his or her behavioral patterns. Lastly, the exam takes about 10 to 15 minutes long, so it's not as lengthy as the MBTI, but the PI results also are put into 3 personality profiles: self-concept, and synthesis. So while coming up with my MBTIs, I learned that Laura, Bob, and Lucy like to think things through rather than be with people. But Laura likes to perceive tangible facts rather than perceive new possibilities, while Bob likes to perceive new possibilities rather than perceive tangible facts. Also, Laura feels making decisions using subjective values more than thinking and making decisions using objective values, while Bob is total opposite and likes making decisions using objective logic and more than feeling, making decisions using subjective judgment. Both Bob and Laura have organized lifestyles and are not really all over the place. While Maria, she likes to interact with people and think things through. She perceives new possibilities rather than perceiving facts. She feels like making decisions using subjective value more than thinking and actually making decisions using logic. While her perception at work is different from Bob and Laura, she has a flexible lifestyle and is all over the place. Lucy and George are kind of the same. Lucy and George both like to think things through rather than interact with others. They both perceive tangible facts rather than perceive new possibilities. They both think using logic rather than using feelings or subjective values. But the only thing, and they also both have organized lifestyles. They're not all over the place. Lucy is a human clock. George could be a little bossy, but it's okay. The PI patterns that I found for these 5 workers are that Laura, I found out that she is ISFJ. Bob is INTJ. Maria is ENFP. Lucy is ISTJ. And George is the same thing, ISTJ. On Laura, in Laura's chart, A and D are both high. They're right next to each other. The A is higher than the B in her results. The evidence on Laura's behavior is +1 for both A and D. Also, C in this case is low, which means Laura's has mobility, can change her pace in any situation, And a few words to describe her I would have to say that Laura is a person of independence and is very self-confident. She is also a private person and can recognize when a person has accomplished something and reward them. Lastly, in her case, a motivation need in her pattern is that she might want to let her other coworkers chime in on her right way of getting things done to not seem too overwhelming towards them. While Bob, on his charts, the A turns out to be on the low and the D factor turns out to be directly at 0, which I think means he could possibly possess both high and low D factors. Also, in Bob's case, A turns out to be closer to 0, which means in Bob's case, the definite puts his behavior to a -1. Bob's C factor is high, which means Bob has long-term affiliation. He has a stable work environment and is familiar with the surrounding environment and the people. In my own words, Bob is a man who isn't afraid to try something new or even risk asking people and getting a no. He also has an advantage in the D factor because he is able to switch from side to side depending on the situation. Lastly, in his case, a motivation need I would have to say for him would be to get to know other coworkers and not want to work so independently and try to act as leaders/supervisors before making any difficult decisions. While Maria, her result turns out to be high and the D factor turns out to be low. In Maria's case, the B turns out to be higher than the A. The evident for her behavior, it measures to about 1.5 mark, to the 1.5 mark, almost to a +2. The C factor in her case seems to be on the low side, which means that she has mobility, freedom from repetition, and can change her pace at any time. In my own words, I would have to say that Maria is a happy person, loves being around people and working with them and having a good time also. But she gets easily distracted and it becomes hard for her to focus. Lastly, in her case, a motivation need would be to try to become more independent and not really rely on others to do work, but also keep those close relationships on a professional level. Lucy, on the other hand, in her case, A is low and the D factor is high. The A in her case is higher than the B. The evidence for her behavior is low. It can be seen closer to the negative numbers. Lucy has a low C factor, meaning the impact is that she has mobility in her workplace, can switch up her pace anytime. And in my own words to describe Lucy, I would have to say that she's very organized. She expects everything to be done on time. She can also be counted to follow the rules and respect her hires in the chain of command. In Lucy's case, a motivating need, I would have to say, was tell her to just take things slow and not really think by the clock or be a clock woman. Finally, George. In his case, I would say that A is higher than the D factor, but the D is at 0, meaning he could pose either side of the motivating needs. The A in his case is higher than the B, and his evident is on the higher side with a +2. While the C factor is low, which means he has mobility and can change his pace. If I had to describe this person, I would have to say that he is an organized guy and may need to let others show ideas and concerns to be able not to come off as an argumentative or bossy person. Lastly, if I had to put all these 5 workers in a team-based project, I would structure them like this. My first chain of command would have to be Lucy. Lucy will be my team leader because she's a human clock, meaning she needs everything to be done perfect and ready by deadline. My second in command will have to be George, so he can direct the team and lead the team to success. Next, I would have to choose Maria, even though she gets off track. I can have Lucy and George set her back on track and will help bring the team together because she's a people person because she cares about how the people feel and the team feels. Laura will be my next worker in line because she is a hard worker and is tough on other lazier employees actually, which should get the team on track. Lastly, but not surely, it would have to be Bob because he would want to take the work home with him and continue to work alone while also still knowing the environment very well and the people around them. I hope you guys really enjoyed my final presentation. Please and thank you, and have a great day.